are these people?
Who are these people? We did it. We made it. Hi, everybody. We're here. I think we're on time. We're pretty close. Who are these people? We did it. We made it. Hi, everybody. Now I get feedback. Here. Wait, I got it.
Uh-oh.
I fixed it.
I
fixed it.
What are we doing?
I fixed it.
Leftist audio. Leftist audio at its
I
finest.
did it. I screwed it up because normally when we go live, I get like 10 minutes to be able to mess with this stuff and to see who's live and be able to put in a chat somewhere and be able to say hi to everyone in different platforms. I can't do that tonight because we just went live and no music. So give me a second. That's Himbo. Hi, that's Himbo. I'm Indie. What's up, everyone? This is
Yep. How's it going, everybody? We got some great news tonight. Just lots of positive stories.
This is nobody wants to work anymore.
It's
for
going
those
great.
Who didn't know. Yeah, it's going great. Very positive
Real
workflow attitude for everyone here. Yeah, we're live everywhere that you can possibly think. So at Substack, we're at Indie News Network. So go check that out. Check out indienewsnow.com where you can check out news and also watch us live. We're even live on BitChute. And man, let me tell you, those chatters over there, they are spicy. BitChute's a spicy place.
In my head, whenever you say that, I think bitch, hoot, and I think of like a really angry female owl. Nobody? Okay. It's me. It's okay. I'm used to that.
Stargazer Steph, how are you? Changing it up from Twitch. Good. Don't like the abrupt live without the music. Okay, that's fair.
What is this criticism?
Well, everyone's allowed. All right.
No. Dissent is not allowed in the nobody wants to work regime.
Okay. I don't know who the.
What do you
No,
mean
I don't
we're
want to play that
protesting?
kind of game, Laura Loomer. Anyone with a Laura Loomer biopic? Yeah, no, thank you.
No.
Oh, I see Sean's here too. How are you? Okay, so we have some
Hey.
not so great work story articles and things to do, to talk about. Unfortunately, because we're not in such a great period at this moment, and phrasing, yes, I know, I'm well aware.
I've literally given up. Y'all, if you're looking for a new job, network, go to job sites off the beaten path. Like it's a dumpster fire. We're at the point. I'm just gonna briefly touch on how absurd working at an office has gotten. Okay, so this is how absurd working at an office has gotten. Our customers now reply to us with ChatGPT, but now our office uses ChatGPT too. So I handle escalations, and I'm being encouraged by the higher ups, the fat cats in the fat cats with the yachts and all that. I'm encouraged by them to use RAI to address the customers using ChatGPT to talk to us. So really, it's just robots interacting with robots with humans behind it. We're basically, we become like Pokemon trainers, and like it's just different AIs that we like throw at one another.
Yeah, that's not good.
One of your pupils is bigger than the other.
AI talks to AI.
Yeah, I've always had
that's
that.
that's what we're doing. Well, it's there are some people that have two eyes, the different color. That's not normal, but that's okay. That's special.
No, it's a
for those who
no.
do
That's
that.
no. Steph is right. I'm actually AI. I'm actually okay. You guys got me. I'm actually Erica Kirk. I've been her the whole time.
Fireworks, everybody! Woohoo! My goodness. All right. Well, now that her name has entered the transcript permanently on this, really? How about that? Said the Bloom's eyes are two different colors.
Algo.
How about that? Did not know that. Or maybe I did. I don't know.
Yeah, those are different conditions. So there's heterochromia, which is different pupils, but then your pupils being different sizes is an entirely different condition. Fun fact, I've had that my whole life. I've had that since I was like, I remember like people on the playground would point that out. Yeah. It can
Does
be just
everybody
a
think you're
naturally
high
occurring
as a
phenomenon.
result? I mean, they're right, but that's a whole other thing.
You know what? I'm so weird outside of the eye thing that I think they just attribute it to like a normal. Like I'm the nerd on the computer, right? So they already think like Gimpy from undergrad, so it's a natural kind of. It's all very natural.
We're joined by royalty.
Yeah.
Indie Media Award honoree, Decensored News in the house. What's up, guys? Good to see you. Welcome. We're gonna talk about some. It was like the black pill news, and it's completely separate from what's going on really around the country when it comes to ICE and police brutality and Venezuela and war and all this stuff. It's what we're actually dealing with every day, like when we leave this shit and go to work. And not too many people talk about this, I notice, or they kind of glaze over it, which is why we decided to create this show in the first place. But we have to get some levity first and do some stupid, goofy stuff, because otherwise we'll just lose our fucking minds, right? So I found this guy on Facebook, and I feel seen, and I feel attacked, and I feel like they've been looking at my shit. Like, when you work from home, but still got to put on your meeting voice and meeting clothes like a whole new person. And I hope that the sound comes on like this. Oh, there's the sound up there. Good. Let's refresh. Yeah. And it'll come on muted because it's stupid.
It's time.
Okay. Wearing my robe. Take it down. Put the glasses and the headset on. Take a deep breath.
Yep.
Hi, guys.
So seen. Not fair. Just.
Dude, I'm pretty sure I've seen you in a robe like that.
Don't out my shit. Now I don't have the insignia, but I right now I am wearing the black robe. Not nice. Fair. But that's okay. Fair. And just remember, everybody, how much your employers actually give a shit. Not one single fuck, including on Christmas. Michael Kine.
Oh, dude. Did you see that meme where they compared like a Christmas tale to current like wages? And they compared like what like the Dickensian wage of that story way back when to like the average, and like we're getting paid less on average than the tragedy of that ancient story.
Which is perfectly on brand.
We're that down bad, guys.
Yep. Thanks, everyone. And then the other stuff I brought, you sent me this one. Maybe I grabbed it from Anti-Work.
That was just that.
Yeah, like, just again.
This just hurts.
It does, and it reminds us to live it up while you can and enjoy what you can while you can, because shit like this happens. And this is from someone at Anti-Work yesterday. My greatest fear is to work my whole life and either die at work or something medically happens to ruin what little retirement I actually get. Yeah, my stepfather worked until 70. He was always in good shape, continued until he was told he could no longer get insurance to work. Within months, he was diagnosed with ALS. Now in hospice care, and will pass sometime very soon, and I can't shake how unfair and very sad it is that he ground his whole life, rarely took time off, dedicated to every job he worked on, and what's he get? A sad end to a lifetime of effort. And the reward of knowing he did the job well, and whatever he left behind as a legacy for that, sure. Work's a necessary evil, but we waste most of our lives making money to try and enjoy the little time we have to ourselves. It's crushing. Thoughts?
Yep. It's I mean, for all, that's not very nice. for all the, you know, for all the faults my dad has, he talked about this since I was a kid. He was like, listen, you got to work for yourself, because otherwise you're going to spend your whole life doing shit for other people, and then you're going to be dying one day and look back in your life and realize you spent most of it just helping some asshole get rich. And he's very much conservative, but that kind of radicalized me, I think. To his dismay mostly, I believe.
See,
But
I also
that's
learned
it.
that.
That's it.
But also, like, figure out a way to save some money and invest. Even if you don't like the companies that you're investing in, if they're flying, don't let all these assholes just be the only ones to make the money. Make the money and use it against them. I've always been a believer in that. Like, I can't help that the stock market is going to keep going up because a lot of these rich assholes are going to invest in it. So if you can put anything into it, and it doesn't necessarily, again, it's going to help you as much as it helps them, because it's going to, you pay it forward. You hire other people, you build outlets and fight the structure with their money. That's the way I kind of see that. Thoughts on that?
Yeah. Which is why it's a shame that certain very wealthy leftist figures do not do that with their money, but that's another story. I'm not like singling out any millionaire leftist people or anything, but anyway. Yeah, that's the whole reason why a lot of us do what we do on INN. That's the whole reason I created Pearl Pilled. And my thoughts about this is like, this is going to take a village. We need to create dual power, and we need to get to the point where these fat cats actually fear us. People need to start like thinking in terms of like a general strike, or like unionizing all the workplaces and all of that. We need to get all of that cooking, because otherwise this is just going to get worse. We're just going to turn into like goblins who are just like AI prompting for I don't know, like +5 digital currency so you can go get your cricket bar at the local pod station. I don't want that shit. So the point of that long-winded and completely out of nowhere rant is we need to get organized, because fuck this. We need to do better than this.
Yeah, you sent me this one. Let me share with everyone so they see what you say. This is what recruiters say after they send you that rejection email after making you go through those 7 rounds of emails and do that case study. Don't forget, and give us the scenario that you spent 2 days working on that nobody's ever going to use, except for that little thing that we might implement and make a bunch of money but not hire you for. Yeah, not.
Oh, it's so good.
Well, yeah. And then you said this one over, which is what most people are looking to do for their career goals for this year, which is go from their current shitty employer to another shitty employer that pays slightly more. Is Melt Ice hiring? There's big signing bonuses if you're willing to sell yourself out. Cricket bars taste like chicken. That's what they say, but I wouldn't know, because I wouldn't eat the filthy motherfucker. And then there's this video you sent me.
For real.
Go ahead. Since you sent this over.
Let's see. I want to see which one.
Well, you said this is another soul crushing video about searching for a job in 2026 and just what.
Oh yeah.
The gaslight and everything, and I thought this was really good, actually. Minute and a half.
It literally is a humiliation ritual.
Okay, so here, let me hit this, and we'll listen.
Job searching in 2026 is a humiliation ritual. You spend all this time building up your resume, only for it to get rejected by AI. Here's a fun fact for you: 75% of applications are never even seen by humans. They just get rejected by AI. In other words, you could be the greatest candidate of all time, but if you don't use the right trigger words, you're shit out of luck. So how do we counter it? We use AI to write resumes for us. So now you have 2 soulless robots interacting with each other. Ladies and gentlemen, Welcome to late stage capitalism. And if you can manage to seduce a keyboard scanner, then you gotta deal with the HR ladies. Yes, the fakest people on earth. Meanwhile, you have baby boomers that have no idea what it's like to try to find a job in this economy, constantly talking shit. In the job listing, if it's even real, who knows nowadays with these ghost jobs, states that the salary starts anywhere between 40K to 80K. Which is really just, hey, we'll give you 40K and see if you're desperate enough to take it. And if you get lucky enough to get an interview, you gotta pretend to give a shit about leveraging a cohesive system of unity and programming synapses. Whatever the fuck that means. Here's another fun fact for you. It takes the average person 1,200 applications to land a full-time position. That's right, 1,200. And joke's on you, in 2 years' time, AI is going to come in and replace you anyways, so it doesn't even matter.
Joke's on all of us. Fuck, dude. So, like I said, that's a
And
little
that's
bit
what
dark.
it is.
But you brought that. What do you think of that one?
Well, here's the thing. I've been through more of these than I can count, and I have a solution. None of our politicians will ever fucking implement this, especially not Marx Carney up here. But if you made it legal that like you could invoice employers for like interview time, every interview would just be one interview. Just one. Oh, also, an added bonus of that, all of these fake jobs that they're doing, these fake job postings where they make you go through fake interviews and fake processes for a job that doesn't actually fucking exist because they're trying to like flex to their shareholders, that would go away too. Just make it so that you can invoice these employers for your time. Because I have gone through interview processes that amounted to like 5 fucking hours of my time. I think one was 8. One of them was like 8 hours because it was, let's see, it was like 6 interviews and then like a project. They gave me like a project to do. So I go do this project and hand it in and they like the project. And then I get to the final interview just for them to tell me like, oh yeah, we went with someone internally. Sorry about that. And I'm like,
Wow.
You just wasted like a full day of work. You wasted a full day of work of my time that I'm never going to get back. We should be able to fucking charge companies that would solve all of this. Because on the one end, it would create a new like economy because everybody would just become like professional like interview takers. You know, they just go on interviews and then fuck off and go on another interview. They'd line up interviews for like every hour of the day. But in addition to that, you'd see all these capitalist scumfucks very quickly reduce the number of interviews to 1. Because I am old enough, you know, don't let this baby face fool you. I am old enough to remember when it was just 1 interview. You just fucking interviewed and then they were like, you're hired, and that was it. I remember that. I think we all do, right? There was
Maybe
never
2
like
at most. Like you go with HR and a screener,
Yeah.
and then the hiring manager, and that's it. If an extreme would be like they put you in front of an executive board that asks you a few questions, but if by the time you get through the screener and the hiring manager, they don't know by then, like, what are they doing? What are they doing? It's, yeah, no, they, like Lori says, they don't give a fuck about your time. Okay. Senta Bloom has never had a job interview where she hasn't been hired on the spot except for her latest job. So that's lucky for her. Yeah, maybe some idiots would do that, but they'd hate themselves soon enough and they'd probably off themselves from the experience. Well,
I'd call cap on that, but she's entirely too honest. So
self-imposed torture, yeah. I mean, I see it. But it's brutal right now having a look, you know. And they're not replacing at the same speed. Go ahead.
No. Do you remember the first one of those that you went on? Because I do. Do you remember the first one where it was like, now it's a 3rd, now it's a 4th interview, and you're sitting there and you're like, what the fuck? What? How many more people do I need to talk to?
Yeah.
Like,
I've been through those, like rounds upon rounds, and they never, and I actually got an offer once, and then after thinking about it, I'm like, you know what? Heaven forbid there was ever a round of layoffs. I'm bottom man on the totem pole, number 1, and number 2, they've been known to lay people off in the past, whereas the company I'm with never has, and you'll be there as long as you want to be. And 6 months later, COVID hit, and they let go of half their staff. So I made the right move.
Oh man.
I made the right move.
Oh, that's brutal.
I'll tell you another funny story that happened to us over the holidays at New Year's. My wife gets a call on New Year's Eve. Now she just took a new job. She's now in HR. Funny enough. Small local company. Friend of hers was an HR person for them. She got a new job, so she had to find a replacement. Knew that my wife had done this in the past. My wife's looking to go back to work after having the kids and looking to do something part-time that kind of worked around hours, and this fit. But what it's turning into very quickly is much closer to full-time work. Even though there are 2 flex days from home, I find that she ends up in front of the computer most of the time on both those days. And now, like, staying a little bit later or whatever, but she gets a call on New Year's Eve day. One of the workers, it's a manufacturing place, has had an accident and cut off a finger. And they're rushing him to the hospital. And there's a whole thing because they don't really have a process. And man, it overtook our entire like New Year's holiday. And, you know, again, the thought to me is that these people would not give a flying fuck about us on their time off, you know, but we have to give a fuck about their business on our time off, which that's kind of fucked up. And that, you know, it's the kind of stuff we all have to deal with, especially HR. So they had to figure out how to help him get a doctor. He lived out of state, so he's got to find one in this state. There's a whole set of issues. He actually had moved but didn't tell HR. Oh, that's a fun one. To find out after the guy's in the hospital that, oh, the address that we sent the birthday, the get well card to, he doesn't live there anymore. Oh,
Great.
That's the kind of stuff that HR sometimes has to deal with. Oh yeah, the guy barely speaks English on top of it. But he operates that piece of equipment that they need the right way, and he'll probably work for less than they would need to pay someone that speaks English, would be my guess. I don't know. It's sad. I wish we didn't have to work for people that exploited others. You know, it sucks. And it's why I'm kind of happy I'm doing what I'm doing, but I get that I am incredibly privileged and that not everyone is able to do the thing that I do. So I'm trying to figure out ways to help everybody else navigate through all this bullshit. You also sent this one because it came from r/Canada jobs, right?
Yeah, it's fuck, man. We're all just doing this shit.
All right.
Look, I can handle this one.
Yeah, go ahead. Be my guest.
I've been job hunting for 5 months, and I'm just gonna say it. The talent shortage is a lie. The whole hiring process is a joke. I could have written this. Look, I've been grinding away at this job search for a few months now, and frankly, the whole talent shortage narrative everyone's pushing is bullshit. I feel like this talk is coming from another planet. Here's what I'm seeing on the ground. Ads asking for 6+ years of experience in a technology that's only been on the market for 4 years. That's because the people creating these have no fucking idea what they're talking about. We all know that though. Going through 6 or 7 interview stages, with each person describing the job completely differently. See my commentary on the first one. Wasting an entire weekend on a supposedly quick take-home project. Oh, this part activated my this part activated my almonds. It activated my almonds. Okay? It conjured my cashews. Only to hear nothing back for 3 weeks after submitting it. Yeah, you have to annoy them after you do their little stupid fucking homework project. Getting completely ghosted after you thought was an excellent final interview is now the norm. Yep. Your application getting rejected by an automated system because you didn't use the exact keyword like drove cross-functional alignment instead of simply saying worked with other teams. Yep, that too.
Fair.
That too. You have to. Let's see. I know very talented people with strong resumes who have been job hunting for 8 months while companies are screaming that they can't find anyone good. Title of our show. And the crazy part is, it's not that we're unqualified. We're getting filtered out by these garbage systems before a real human being even glances at our resumes. And of course you are, because they're using AI, because the AI offsets labor value, offsets like labor costs. Okay. AI is like, we're going to look back on this in 20 years, provided we're not all in the matrix by then and like just bug people that have like robot avatars. We're going to look back at all this and be like, what the fuck were we doing? So no, I'm not buying the talent shortage excuse. I'm seeing a shortage of sane hiring. It feels like companies are chasing a mythical unicorn candidate who meets 110% of their criteria. No, it's all capitalism. It's all capitalism. It's just all just quarterly profits, and that's it. That's all this is. That is the TLDR of all this shit. Instead of hiring a smart person who can learn and grow on the job. To everybody else getting crushed by this, what's the most ridiculous thing a company has asked of you during the process? Do we both want to answer that? That could be fun.
Yeah, I mean, you can go first on that one. But to answer, our friend's question over on Rumble, they did manage to sew his finger back on, but then it got infected. He had to end up going to the doctor like 4 times in between, in state, out of state, taking Ubers, and the company paid for all of it. It was nice of them. They didn't have to, but I mean, what are you gonna do? What a mess. It was gross. Yes,
So,
QTC seems to have fixed his internet, by the way. Go ahead.
Yeah, so a quick blip on that, because a lot of y'all, as much as I would like to blame the IDF for this, because it curiously froze every time I started shitting on Israel. I know that doesn't narrow it down, because I shit on Israel a little bit sometimes. But I'm having a tech come over tomorrow. But basically what was happening was it was connecting, but then it was completely dropping the connection entirely every like 10 minutes or so for like 10, 15 seconds. So I fucked around with command prompt for a while like running, ping in command prompt in the background and looking at like Windows event. And I realized what was dropping my connection. And this does point to like a larger problem that may be like a fucked up cable with a leak, or, my router's on the way out or whatever. But what was causing me to drop my connection was the prompt for my computer to look for other Wi-Fi signals. So I just disabled that in command prompt. Boom, fixed instantly. I haven't had a single hiccup. Yes, I did knock wood. So it seems to be good for now. Having a tech come over tomorrow to explain. I need more of the context than just like, I figured this out. I need the full everything. So, we'll probably figure it out tomorrow. And if he gives me the okie doke, at least I know like a workaround I can create a PowerShell from and just kind of, click on and off. So yeah.
You are a problem solving wizard over here. I would just bring it to some guy or bang it with a hammer. So good for you.
What I am is stubborn. What I am is, well, this. What I am is stubborn. That is, I think stubbornness probably drives everything I've done, really. But yeah, guys, sorry about the bullshit on that stream. Hopefully you enjoyed yourselves anyway. Thanks to Lil Dibs for carrying that bitch, because she just carried it. She took over. She was like, this is the Lil Dibs show now, or whatever. But yeah, thanks, guys. So the most ridiculous thing, this is like extra ridiculous. I was interviewing with I don't know if anybody works in like learning and development. Like training materials, updating like your inner knowledge bases, shit like that, right? But I had one interview for I think it was director of learning and development, which I am qualified for. I was a teacher back in the day. They asked me to create a whole training. I'm not kidding. They asked me to create a whole training seminar, like a whole training module using your what did they call it? Training software of choice, which I knew they didn't know what they were talking about there because there's specific like terms for these things. They made me create a whole training module. For like a Monday interview. So it's like do this over the weekend. A whole training module, which like you're spending like a good chunk of your weekend doing that. And then I create the module and they're like, we're not moving forward. And I'm like, can I get some feedback? And they gave specific feedback on the training module, but it was like no feedback that it could have been like acted on based on the instructions they gave me. So I'm like, are you guys just like professional time wasters or what are we doing here? So that was definitely the most ridiculous thing because I did spend a good chunk of my weekend like perfecting this training module for these fucking clowns who, you know, probably didn't even look at it really.
Nice. Very nice.
Awful.
Yeah. You know, it's been a while since I've even gone on one, but I can tell you that one of the last jobs I had, I actually got turned down the first time I interviewed with them, and they had actually hired somebody else for the role. And then it was kind of fucked up the way it happened. So they called, I had a recruiter kind of call me in June. They set me up with an interview. They interviewed me and they liked me, but they had someone that they preferred to go with that they thought had more experience. Okay. That person then on the day that they accepted that they were supposed to start decided to go back to their other job. So then they called me and they asked me to go through another 2 rounds of interviews, actually 3 rounds of interviews, including one with the executive board overseas at like a weird time of day. And then as it turned out, they had a ticket for this guy to attend a trade show. And they said, well, if you get yourself to the place where the trade show is, we'll get you a badge under our name and you can work the trade show with our manager. He can kind of see you in action and then we can decide what we want to do there or not. I mean, I had nothing to lose. Basically, it cost me a plane ticket to Las Vegas. It was in Vegas. It wasn't so bad. Could have been worse. But I took the shot of, I didn't know if I was going to get the job or not. And then I ended up getting hired with 2 other people on the same day. And one of them stayed till the day I left. And one of them left within 90 days. They washed out. And I was there for 6 years. So they got 2 out of 3 for 6 years and a tremendous amount of productivity. But it was fucked up. Like, hey, fly to Vegas, even though you don't have the job, on the chance that you might get the job and work a trade show for 9 hours a day, working boots for 2 days, 3 days straight, and introducing this person to your connections. And as it turned out, I introduced him to my old boss, and they ended up doing like a 360 on me, like right face to face. New boss, old boss. Hey, tell me about this guy. It was kind of weird, but it all worked out in the end.
Oh my God, trade shows suck too. They're so bullshit to work at. Oh my God.
See, I actually like working at trade shows. It's totally kind of surface level. You know, nobody gets too deep into their own lives or their own problems. It's, hey, I like what you're doing. Hey, I like what you're doing. Let's see if we can get together later on and make all this, put all this stuff together and make some money together. And that's really what I've always seen a trade show as. I've worked the booth. I hate working the booth. It's like jail. But I like working the floor where I can go from booth to booth to booth, check out what everybody's doing, have a whole bunch of different conversations, learn what different companies do, and see if there's a way for me to, you know, integrate what I'm working with into what they do. You know, that's always been my thing. Go ahead.
I mean, for me, like my experience working in trade shows was like I worked in like promotional marketing. So for me, it was like I was first like, this is when I was like in my late teens, just moved to Toronto. I worked as like a promo model, and then I was like kind of managing a team. So it's like you're just basically sitting there all day trying to get people to like give a fuck about your whatever you're promoting. So it sucked because we just talked to like a ton of people and half of them smelled like beer farts. But yeah, that's why I don't like trade shows. It's also because I'm an introvert, so like that amount of people just like it's overwhelming. It's also way too much noise. Holy fuck, there's so much noise. There's like a million different sounds.
There's a
How
lot of
does
noise.
your brain process that many sounds?
That's for
Yeah,
sure.
no,
I'm actually
no.
going to
Miss
one in
me-
a couple of weeks.
Miss me with that.
I've got to do one in a couple of weeks. I'm actually, because I've always been successful work-wise and business-wise as an account executive. I've picked up a ton of different accounts and clients from working, from just walking the show and meeting the director of product is there, all the executives and VPs, they show up because all the money they spend on this thing. And sometimes when their targets are in those little classes or sessions, there's a captive audience where they're just kind of sitting around. And that's when I walk over and I'm like, hey, what do you got to tell me about your stuff? And here's what I've got. And what do you think about this idea? And it's actually materialized, real money. So, I'm going to keep trying to do more of that this year. I've only been doing basically one a year for the last couple of years. And I'm going to do at least 3, if not 4 this year and see if it can materialize more business because it's worked. But yeah, so we've got a bunch. So we got to do whatever works. And unfortunately, in order to make money these days, you have to invest. You can't just like real money. You can't just go to a job and show up and hope that it's going to pay out big money. It's just, am I wrong? You're muted.
Fuck, I gotta stop fidgeting with this thing because I keep muting myself. No, I'm just I'm reading the headline here and I wanted your take on this. What do you think is the possibility that like, yes, I know my mic, I know. What do you think is the possibility that this is actually the problem? AI is like detecting AI, like everybody's using AI to interact, but like that's the reason why nothing's moving forward. Like the AI is actually the problem on like both the receiving and the giving end.
Well, yes, because, first of all, now you're flooded. The minute that a job is posted, they get 1,000 resumes. And there's no way they can sift through any of that stuff. So they now need a tool to help them sift through the 1,000 resumes they're deluged with the minute they post a job up there. Some of them are complete bullshit and smoke and not qualified at all. Somebody's got to take the time to go through those. Then you have some that might be qualified, but you don't know. And then you have the ones, and again, you need a system that will put these things through some kind of filter. And a lot of times you're missing the best candidate. And Reef sent me this one. Funny enough, because he loves Reddit. But yeah, that job market's held. Young people are using ChatGPT to write their applications, while HR is using AI to read them, and nobody's getting hired, which is what the bosses actually kind of want. Now, this is from The Atlantic, which we know all about The Atlantic, right? I love applicants, but I'd never, ever hire one, right? And then there's a whole bunch of different reasons why. But the biggest thing is, again, the volume. And that guy talked about it, that you could be the perfect candidate, but unless you tailor your resume to the exact keywords they're looking for, you'll never get picked. You're at the bottom of a huge pile. So I thought that one was interesting. Then we have this one, which is why people fail upwards. I mean, we all have incompetent people that we work with that are managers. I mean, the last 3 managers I had, people looked at me and were like, he's your manager? Yeah, because I want to make money and I don't want to babysit people. So this is what happens.
Ever notice how the people who have no idea what they're doing somehow keep getting promoted? That's not random. That's what happens in workplaces that reward visibility instead of actual competence. So
This
here's
has
what's
literally
happening.
happened to me, by
Most
the way.
organizations don't
Twice
promote
for
the
promotion.
strongest performers. They promote the safest ones. The people who never rock the boat. The people who make upper management feel comfortable. The people who nod, smile, and keep everything smooth and on the surface. Because real confidence, real skill, and real leadership, that makes weak leaders nervous. When you're genuinely good at your job, you unintentionally expose how much control the people above you don't have. So instead of building strong leaders, these systems recycle the weak ones. They reward the loyalty over the leadership, the compliance over the vision, and the comfort over the growth. And once that cycle starts, every layer protects the layer above it. And the real talent either burns out or walks away. So that's how mediocrity becomes the culture. So when you look around and think, why does every manager here seem clueless? It's not bad luck. It's structural. They're not failing upward by accident. They're being rewarded for being unthreatening. And that is why real leadership feels so rare.
Amen.
That hurts. That hurts because like one of my favorite jobs was actually being like a manager, but I was like a real one. I was like, and I feel like that's why the company didn't like me. I literally would advocate for the goddamn workers, but that's not the point of being a manager. To be a good manager, you have to basically like just brainwash your team into like accepting their shit conditions, their hard work, their underpayment, their exploitation, the exploitation of the surplus value of their labor. That's what you're there for. I tried advocating for them like a dumbass, and I just got shut down every time I could. But yeah, that is 100% what happens. That's why incompetent people get promoted. That's why like
if you're in a
everyone at
workplace
the
like that,
top
run. Seriously, if you're in a workplace like that, run.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to do that.
I am. Finding jobs that actually promote based on like, well, I'll just say it, okay? This wouldn't be a problem if we had like worker co-ops, right? Because every decision would be like, okay, I got skin in the game here because if we do better, if the company does better, we all do better. So we're all going to make the decisions required to do better. But we don't have that. We live under bullshit capitalism where everybody's underpaid, so it doesn't fucking matter. Like, nobody cares, right?
Yeah,
like,
the only way that I've
there's nothing
been
in it for
always,
anybody.
I was always told, make yourself valuable by putting money on the board. Figure out how to make that company more money, and they will figure out a way to pay you and to keep you there until you stop making them money. That's always kind of been the way that, and it's easy when it comes to sales because it's a zero-sum game. You either are selling and your accounts are producing revenue and profit, or they're not. And luckily, I've managed to find ways to bring on accounts that do that. But again, I understand not everyone's in a position to be able to do that. And what we found is that bouncing every 2 years seems to be the right move for people in this work economy.
That's the call.
Which means that you never actually stop looking for a job. The minute you get a job, maybe you're there for 3 months before you start looking again. Because it takes that long to find a new job, and especially one that you're going to be happy going to that would take you away from the current one. You know, I never stopped looking. I was always entertaining offers and always looking around for, hey, I had target companies I wanted to work for and always had alerts set up for those roles and continued to make inroads with the people that might have been my bosses in the future at those companies or somewhere else. You know, developing those relationships with those people from your current job isn't necessarily a bad thing because then they get to see you and your talent, and it's a lot easier for them to recommend you to their HR person and get your foot in the door when you see something that you might want to do on their team. Have you seen that?
Yep. The worst thing I've seen currently in our company is this is absurd the way I refer to this. We're interviewing people right now for a CEO because he quit. He just fucked off. He's like, I don't want to do this anymore. And he just dipped. And then our VP has no idea how anything works. So he's pretty much the boss, but we have to explain to the boss how everything works. Because he doesn't know. So he'll have to deal with like an executive escalation. And he'll have to reply to someone, but he'll bug me because I'll do all the work and tell him what to say. But he's the boss and I'm not. I don't get paid that money. I don't get paid fuck you money for that. He's the boss. He gets paid that money for asking me to do everything and just like copy paste what I said. Great. It's good. It's good stuff. We're doing fine. This is definitely not going to go to a really, really bad place.
So now
What is the chat
CEO,
talking
was there
about?
a CEO was like CEO? That's good, Bill. Now, was there like a board or somebody that hired him? Like somebody had to hire this guy. No?
Yeah, it was the same process that hired all the other people that are clueless. Because like she talks about, like this whole process is fucking vibes. There's no like, what is the best for this company? Because there's no incentive for anybody to do that. There's no incentive. Does HR get a bonus for hiring someone who 6 months to a year down the line, like, outperforms all their KPIs? No, nobody sees anything of that. They just Office Space at a best. Okay. The work environment we are in just basically incentivize people to work just hard enough not to get fired. And that's it. And if you ever want to see like that change, then
that was a George Carlin line. Just smart enough to work the machines and just dumb enough to realize they're not getting fucked.
Yeah, exactly. Obedient workers. No, it sounded, I think my cadence might have veered a little into Carlin territory just because it's a similar thing to what he said, but realistically, like, they just like, we're all just working. We're doing as little as possible just because there's no one like, okay, if I bust my ass, if I like blow KPIs out of the water, like I've done in the past, to the point where I like make the rest of the department look like shit, what's that going to do? Number one, they're probably going to think like, oh, well, why isn't everybody else performing like this guy? They're going to raise the KPIs and make the job even harder for the same fucking pay. Number one. Number two, I'm not going to get any extra cheddar for that. I'm not getting any extra money.
That's a lot of office space.
My expectations. Yeah, no, that's it. They had it so good. And that movie should have really influenced us more than it did. But all I'm seeing is everybody's so desperate now that they're willing to just deep throat the boot for these fucking capitalists. They're willing to just be like, yes, daddy, please step on my face, whatever. I'll take $10 an hour because they're desperate because nobody's getting hired. And it's sad. We should have been at a point by now where we have enough proletarian solidarity to actually come together and be like, no, you're not going to underpay us for this bullshit. Also, I'm not doing that. That's a stupid thing. You reply to that email. I'm not replying to it. If I reply to that email, I'm going to reply to it by saying, I hope this email finds you before I fucking do.
Trump's checks will save you, not Himbo. He's in Canada. Trump's not going to save him unless he's living in Alberta, and maybe we'll get a check, or Greenland. But sadly, no checks are coming. Yes, we all know that. What, $2,000 or whatever?
I thought it was $7,000. Wait, then why did I get the $7,000 in my bank account? That's weird. Don't look into it, guys. Anyway. No, don't worry, guys. Trump's getting that technate. He's getting that North American Union. He's getting it. And if anybody doesn't know what I'm talking about, type into Google Technocracy Incorporated and scroll down to the map.
Or look at Morgenthau Group, Canada, or Club of Rome, and the 10 economic zones worldwide. Yes, that is the kingdoms of the Club of Rome, I believe is how they refer to it. Unfortunately, Descendant Bloom says she's not in a union, but no union within her workplace. Well, It's about time someone has started one. I'm just messing with you.
There is an organization. I forget the abbreviation off the top of my hand. I've been very busy today. But there is a organization that you can kind of reach out to that'll help you get started with kind of like actually getting a union poppin' like in your workplace without, the like sorry, you got the $7,000 from the dentist. That's good. You can actually reach out to people, organizations, and they will help you like kind of get it popping off. But I mean, until we've democratized the workplace, like this is. Oh, that reminds me, I would love him as a guest. Anyway, until we've democratized the workplace,
Dentist?
like this is just gonna get worse.
You want the dentist as a guest?
Oh yeah. I do want my dentist. Can you imagine having like your dentist as a guest and be like, how would you describe my teeth? That'd be so good.
Yeah, I would not want that. No. Although I used to be bad with that when I was much younger, but learned my lesson and have taken good care of my teeth for more than 20 years now. Unfortunately, I'm not more than 20 years old. I'm closer to more than 50 years old, but that's okay.
Are you rounding down or up?
I'm rounding down.
Indy, what is the difference between a sadist and a dentist?
I'm sure you have an answer to this one. I don't know that one.
Newer magazines. Hey.
Oh God. Speaking
guys,
of magazines, did
you
hear about the anarchist that got arrested in Houston for transporting magazines? I covered it last night on my show.
No.
He wasn't even at the protest, and they arrested him, and now he's looking at federal charges for transporting Antifa material around the Houston area.
Dude, we are literally at first they came for, and people need to like just accept that's where we're at right now. We're at first they came for. That's where we're at. Sorry guys. I'm not being hyperbolic, I'm not being dramatic. That's where we're at. We're at first they came for. Just deal with it and we can move on.
Our Rumble audience does not know what the dentist is or haven't seen them in 25 years. I'm sorry, my Rumble fam. It's not so bad. When you have your teeth worked on, because tooth pain is the fucking worst. Like, tooth and foot pain are the two worst things ever, because you don't think about them until they hurt, and then you can't think about anything but them. And there's no other thing in the world I can describe like that.
I notice how the people who have no idea what they're doing somehow keep getting promoted.
I didn't tell her to do that. Hey, go away.
I'm sorry. That was fucking...
How rude.
No, you did that on purpose.
How rude.
Shut the fuck up. You did that on purpose. I know you did. I know you did that.
How rude she's interrupting us.
Absolutely. Yep, there we go.
What map did you say to Google?
Okay,
Technocracy? Okay, wait, hold on. Ahmad Abdel Fattah over on Substack is asking what map. We're talking about the Morgenthau group, okay, and the Club of Rome, which talks about 10 economic zones. North American Union is the one that we're talking about, and it would include the U.S., Canada, Greenland, and I believe Puerto Rico. But most of Mexico, the Spanish-speaking world, is actually part of the South American Economic Zone.
And Venezuela is part. Venezuela is at least part of
the North American Union. That's right.
Technocracy Inc. Yeah, the Technocracy Inc. Because their main plan, and it's shockingly similar, by the way, to the direct rhetoric that is coming out of the orange Zioblob's mouth. But the resources from Venezuela and Greenland were always intended, from 1930s, by the way, the resources were what they were going to use to power the technocracy, the rare minerals, the oil, all the resources. That was the point of having them within that technate that they originally envisioned. So that was kind of the whole point. They would have like this central hub, and then they would have resource zones that they would pull into doing the central hub. But that's just a crazy conspiracy, guys.
Right,
Don't look too much
self-sufficient
into it.
economic zones that actually are being carved out exactly the way that they were laid out decades ago. Huh. Weird that this guy's
right
being
now,
being
literally
brought
right
on
now.
to introduce them to MAGA that never would have accepted it, by the way, under a Democratic president. But I digress. I mean,
Nope.
obviously, that's all just conspiracy theory stuff. That shit wouldn't actually be happening. Sure.
Next, you're gonna tell me about the gay frogs. I know it. I knew it, Indy. You're gonna tell me about the gay frogs.
They're turning the frogs gay. Oh my goodness.
Yep.
What are we doing here? All right. So you sent me this one, and I have
This
not
is
opted in, though I should.
Yep.
Okay. Workday. From at the job chick on Twitter, attention job seekers 40 plus. Unfortunately, I fit that category. If you've applied to jobs through Workday's platform, which is used by thousands of big companies, including General Motors, by the way, and got auto-rejected with no interview, no explanation, you might be part of a massive age discrimination class action lawsuit against their AI screening tools. Somebody's fighting back. Court-approved notice started January 6th. No significance to that date. Okay, opt-in deadline, they've got 60 days. So you only have a short window to let people know that yes, I was affected by this. So you go to workdaycase.com. Now, I will say that at the bottom, somebody in the replies was like, basically, you'll get $5 out of this, and it's not worth giving up all your info for $5. But guess what? Workday already had your fucking info. So, okay, but
Like,
here,
what are we doing? You got to give that anyway.
Right. So you have to, you could possibly be entitled to some compensation. There's a lawsuit that opened up here. All right. Where's the thing? This is the link. Okay. Notice of collective action lawsuit against Workday. All individuals from 40 years or older who at time of present from September 24th, 2020. Okay. Applied for job opportunities using Workday's job application platform. All right. So there's a whole opt-in to consent form. So that then they can use your story and include you in their class action lawsuit to be paid out potentially. All right. Now this guy, he's back. I just had to be patient. You just did your Charlie
Did
Kirk.
the 1 sec thing.
Go ahead.
No, I did the 1 sec thing. I had to check on I had to check on Crab. He's in the bathtub and I'm just like watching over him. So the rash. So
are you extracting his kidneys as we speak? Is that what you're doing?
No,
Dude.
no, I'm just trying to prevent the rash from spreading to the rest of Canada at this point.
Blame Canada.
It's infected us all.
That's what I say. Blame Canada.
Yep.
Workday lawsuit is
so
open.
Guys, just so you're aware. So you guys are aware, you may not know it right now, but if you've almost certainly applied to Workday, go to their website and look at the format of it. Because Workday might not click in your head, but a shitload of companies use Workday for the interview process. And it just like if you click from LinkedIn, it'll take you over to Workday. Check it out. You know, it might be a thing. And even if you do get like just a tiny amount of money back, the point is beyond that. The point is beyond just getting some cheddar back, right? The point is pushing back and actually taking action against these corpos. Because if we just roll over, then the narrative is going to continue to be workers are basically little peons that we can just throw around and manipulate and exploit. The point is to send a fucking message. The point is to get revolutionary optimism so we can use that to move forward and actually, start, having some kind of agency as like a solidified working class. It starts with shit like this, right?
Make
Win a
'em
lawsuit
pay.
here, win a lawsuit there, all of a sudden, yeah, people get emboldened. And then after that, it's like, oh, now we're sending a message. Oh, you're going to make us all work on New Year's? Guess what? We're all not going to work if you do that. This is how we do it. Okay, the power with us has always been in our labor, and it has been in the power of withholding. I don't mean like a 9-for-1 or something. Relax, guys. Not that kind of withholding. Sorry, that was a tax joke. I should have clarified. That was a tax joke. But our power has always been in withholding our dollar. Choosing where we spend our money, because that affects those quarterly profits. And as I've said before on the show, the people at the top are obsessed with that shit. They have meetings over it. They like fuss over it. It like stresses them out. And we know that for a fact with the BDS movement, that it fucking works. So these are the two things we have. We have using our labor and withholding our dollar.
BDS. Oh, we're not allowed to say that anymore. Sorry for the Canadian in the room. But yeah, yes, withholding our dollars and exercising our right to freedom. It's freedom to spend where we want to spend. It's American to be able to spend like that. Come on. Yeah. So Workday, I actually have applied to several, like ADP, the big payroll company. I know for sure use Workday. And by the way, Workday job applications, and we talked about this 2 years ago when we were really talking about applying for jobs, is the fucking worst of all of them. It's 9 pages to get to a consent form that then you have to reapprove everything that you already wrote. And dude, it's awful. It's awful. My accents are terrible.
And
Thank you.
Time,
I appreciate that. A boot.
And the whole time, by the way, I applied to ADP just because I do have like payroll experience. I applied to ADP. They the HR whatever person sent me a request for an interview and then apologized when I scheduled it and said they meant to send a rejection macro.
Oops. Wrong template.
That was good. Yeah, it's like literally like, oops, I pressed the wrong button on ATAX. Sorry about that. And it's like, brother, come on, man.
It's these ATS systems. They're going to be the end of all of us. So you said this one, and I thought it was AI slightly. Like, this is really good advice. And I'm like, yes, it is, and it was right from ChatGPT. So I'm going to let you take this one.
Never accept I knew it was too. Never accept a counter offer. M-dash. That's right there. That's how you know. Even if it's a 100% hike. Being in HR, I've seen this play out more times than you think. A candidate I was hiring for was earning $100,000. He got a new offer of $170,000, a solid jump. But within 15 minutes of the offer letter hitting his inbox, he backed out. His current company dangled a $190,000 counter offer, and he accepted it immediately. Do not ever fucking do this.
No.
Okay? If you get an offer somewhere else, you just fucking leave. You just get the fuck out and you don't look back. Because listen, I'll make you guys consider this on a different level, okay? If you were really happy at that place, then the money really wouldn't have mattered that much, right? You were already unhappy. So their counter offer, you're going to be at the same shit job. You're still going to be miserable. You're going to have more money, but it gets better. Fast forward 4 months. The same candidate messaged me again. His company had laid him off and replaced him with a cheaper resource, probably from India. I added that.
Yeah.
His message started with, "Hi, sir. I'm really sorry. Do you have any openings?"
I'm really
This is
sorry.
exactly why I keep sorry. I keep saying this. Another telltale, it's AI. They got the little emojis like as a bullet. I don't know why they do it. It's fucking cringe. A counteroffer is not a reward. It's a strategy to buy time until they can find someone cheaper. Loyalty doesn't magically increase with money. No, they have your company. None of these companies have any loyalty to their employees. It doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter how many days you work late. It doesn't matter how above and beyond you go. You are a replaceable asset, and that's never going to change until we push back on these fat pieces of shit and tell them, fuck you, that's enough. Where was I? Anyway, if they valued you, they wouldn't wait until your resignation to pay you fairly. Please don't fall for counter offers. It looks like a win until it isn't. Yes, I've been through this personally, and I know a lot of people who went through it too. If they give a counter offer, just like, here's the thing: if you get an offer and it's a better offer, you just hand in your resignation. And if any noise after that, you just go, "I'm sorry, I've made my decision." Also, like, if you've accepted that job offer anyway, then you shouldn't like back out of that, right? Because that's kind of shitty. Like, honor your commitment. Like, be the kind of person that HR is never going to be, I guess.
Well, I always thought they were just looking to hire your replacement. You know, like it said there. I actually gave a company once the opportunity to match, and they did match, and then I was passed over for promotion multiple times and ended up leaving because they were pissed. You know, I don't know if you know if they were pissed, but you know, I was one of these people that rocked the boat. And you know, we watched that video earlier of the people that get promoted because they don't rock the boat. I was certainly somebody that was stirring the pot as a sales rep on behalf of my customers, pushing the developers, pushing the customer support people, pushing the sales managers to give us pricing incentives, pushing everyone, IT, to get us better equipment. Nobody was spared. That's our job, is to be a pain in the ass. So,
dude, that's some customer success shit. Respect.
Right? So, no, well, it is, but part of account executive is you're also managing the account after you sign it. There are some that just are hunters, and I never liked that role, to just hand off all the work and relationship building that I did for months to close a deal, to then give it to somebody else to manage that they don't know from anyone the minute it starts. I like to be involved from minute one and then continue to manage the account afterwards. And luckily I was with an organization that allows me to do that. And I found one that does. You know, you've got to search, and you've got to filter, and you've got to ask hard questions, and you've got to be willing to say no and walk and have the resolve to do that. And again, sales is much easier because it doesn't cost them nearly as much, and you are revenue generating and producing from an early period, or they're going to get rid of you. Whereas when you're a line item expense, they will look to trim whatever they can and squeeze you wherever they can. I found that they're much more willing to pay out commission wise. And, you know, right now I'm dealing with a situation where there's a CFO that's seeing that some of the salespeople are making more than he is. He's pissed. He's jealous. And our head of sales is like, "Look, man, you want to make more money? You go work in sales. These guys busted their ass and they closed something that allows us to pay you and everybody else here. So leave them alone." And that's the fight that happens.
For those who aren't aware,
at the executive board level.
For those who aren't aware, CFO, that's an abbreviation for Cock Factory Ogre. No,
it's the person that watches the money like it's their own, even though it's not, most of the time. So
all of the time. Let's be real, all the time.
Well,
the
sometimes
time.
it's their own
Our
money.
CFO We've gone through 3 CFOs in 2 years. So
Wow.
that's a good sign, right? That's a good sign. 3 CF like,
Yeah, that's not good. When you've got people that are responsible for managing the books and managing the money that's not consistent and not running the same, kind of line or able to, that's weird. Or they're frustrated with other people within the company that don't allow them to do what they need to do, and they fucking walk, which I have kind of respect. Your org sounds like it's pretty fucked up.
The shitty thing is they're really good to they actually are very good to their employees. It's one of those things where it's like they're incompetent, but they're really good to their employees. They really respect like work-life balance. They offer really good benefits. They really care about their staff. They encourage like take your time off, take your PTOs, all that. But they're incompetent. And their salaries suck. So it's like that's kind of what you get. You can either be in an environment where it's toxic and shitty and it sucks, and they want to work you to the bone, and they'll probably pay a little higher, or you can go with, it's like the bad boy versus like the soy whatever.
Right. Which one are you going to stick with long term? But I don't know. But yeah, we lost you there. Here's the conversation that should happen, but we know never does, which is that we can't afford to pay the pay raise, then we should pay it. Why? Because if we can't afford his increase, then we can't afford to advertise, hire, interview, pay, and train a replacement. So what are you going to do? They're gonna replace him, and they'll brain drain, and they'll do silly shit because they maintain power that way.
Well, it's like this is why I don't mean to like turn into like a rabid tanky all of a sudden, but surprise!
Oh no! So all of a sudden, no, soy goy.
That's why soy goy. That's why Marx talks about like scarcity in the way that he does. There needs to be this scarcity for people to accept exploitative, terrible conditions at work. And I feel like this is kind of part of that. It's part of the culture at this point. And let's be real, when this circumstance happens, this is just an excuse for them to replace that job with, let's see, what are they going to do? They're going to post a similar position for way less salary. Or more likely, they're going to outsource to another country where they can get away with paying like fucking $5 an hour. And all those people, because I know a lot of people who have gone through this, where they've been I was replaced by someone from India, for example. To all those people who are frustrated about this, I need to frame it correctly. Those workers in India or any other country that they're paying like $4 or $5 an hour for the exact job you're doing or you're replaced with, they're exploited too. Because how the fuck would you feel? How would you feel? How would you feel if you knew you were hired to do the exact same job that someone was originally paying 10 times your salary for, and the only reason you were hired to do that was because you were cheap labor and they could fucking get away with it? I would be livid. So those people are exploited too. We are a globally exploited working class. So
yes.
That's what they do.
Very much. And they don't pay the people what they're worth. All right. I think we're going to talk about this one, and then maybe we'll figure out how much time's left. But
God,
this triggered me so bad. I'm like, oh, this is so good and so worth talking about. Okay. So I've been following
Jimmy's
this guy,
Will
Jeremy
Russell.
Nye, with American Inequality. All right, who put out a survey, who shared a survey from the Monday Morning Economist. The 213 people on Substack actually have voted on it. What would you pick? And the question is would you choose $240,000 to work in office versus half of that to work remotely from home? And I got so fucking angry. I said it to him. I'm like, oh, hell no. Hell no. And I'm like, oh, we got to talk about this. Because my answer is go fuck yourself. Because if I'm worth $240,000 in the office, I'm worth at least $240,000 at home, if not more. How am I not? I'm more productive at home, number one. And number two, I don't have to pay to commute. So, what?
Yeah. It's like I said to you, it's like that number should be inverse. Because like we've at least, because I've been working at home long enough, right? That I have access to all like the KPIs and the metrics. Our in-office staff versus our work at home staff, it's not even fucking close. Like people at home are just crushing it. And people in the office are struggling. Why? Because they have to deal with this is really important, getting crop dusted in the office. We covered this before. Office crop dusting is a big deal.
It is a
Wake
fireable
up,
offense.
sheeple.
If we find out who did it.
But not just that. The people at the office also have to deal with like a helicopter manager, which just stresses people the fuck out, right? Like if you had the Eye of Sauron on you all the time, you wouldn't be like as efficient as you could be, because nobody likes that. Nobody likes being watched while they're doing fucking work. Especially if you have imposter syndrome like myself. I've had lifelong imposter syndrome. Like whenever like I see a bunch of like higher ups on like an escalation I'm handling, I fucking freak out. You know why? Because it's a bunch of higher up people who actually no, it's okay. It's deep down. It's because I think they're all fucking stupid and they don't know what they're talking about, and they'll make the wrong inference from my work. But my point is, the productivity levels. You can prove this. There are studies that prove this. I can give you my own testimony reviewing KPIs from years upon years back. It's very clear. People work better when they're in an environment that is safe, surrounded by fur babies, ideally. Unless they're making biscuits on your keyboard, then you're going to send some bullshit to the wrong person and they're going to be confused. Not like that's ever happened to me though. Safe environment, somewhere where they can immediately meet all of their needs, right? Bathrooms right there or whatever. You know, if you need a snack, you can get a snack. If you're stressed out, you can, you know, maybe like go for do a lap, right? They're going to be more productive because they're not in an alien environment where they're restricted from certain needs.
By the way, it was
house.
Yona.
It is all of your immediate needs that are being met.
It was Yona that crop dusted the office and the elevator and everything else, and he's happy and he's smiling like a Cheshire cat. Thank you, Yona. Appreciate that. Disgusting. Amazing.
Nothing's more satisfying than farting in crowded elevators.
See?
That's great.
Yoda knows. He gets it. You know, what are we here for? Is that a personal attack because her cat sent you a bunch of BS the other day? Maybe. That could be, but again, he was not trying to implicate any one human being. I did not see that. But man, I got so mad about this again. So you want me to take less because you don't get to micromanage me is effectively what this is. You don't get to watch over me and make sure that I'm not applying for jobs somewhere else. And you get to monitor my internet usage through your VPN nonsense. And you don't get to it's like these people that have the eye tracking stuff on their on the cameras. I'm in my 50s. I'm not going to be treated like an infant anymore. I don't need that. I've been able to manage to provide for people for decades without that and will continue to. But man, this made me so mad because I've been working from home since 2005. You know, y'all just kind of joined me after the pandemic. And I'm like, you guys figured out the secret that I figured out 2 decades ago, which is that, fuck, dude, I can work in my bathrobe and make just as much, if not more, most times, stood up and go out on the road and see different places and people once in a while. But most of the work that you can do these days can be done with Zoom and can be done from a remote location, just about anywhere, with a computer and an internet connection. And I've been doing that again since 2005.
Listen, you are far more productive. We talked about this one of our first shows. I was also ahead of the curve. Before the pandemic, I was already working at home. And let me tell you guys, you are so much more productive when you are not wearing pants. That's a fact. That is verified by
or sweatpants at the worst. I mean, comfortable pants that are loose fitting, especially gray ones. They tend to work out well. But I digress. So $250,000 in the office or $120,000 remote, and Himbo immediately comes back to me and goes, "Oh, dude, totally the remote job, no matter what." So the sad thing is that there are a lot of people that would sacrifice that level of income instead of holding out for that level of income while still pushing and demanding to be remote. And that's what got me as triggered as anything. Like, fuck no, dude, no, we have to fight for the 240 and more. Because that's me.
Yeah. So the thing is, like, I feel like this was kind of a loaded survey. I just kind of wonder, like, how much of this was like engagement, because it's like, totally, first of all, most people don't even make 120. Yeah. So most people don't even make 120K. So it's like, if you're faced with both of those jobs, 240 or 120K, and they're both upgrades, but one of them's at home, you're going to pick the 120K because you're going to be like, okay, well, I'm going to have more money anyway.
First question went viral.
Wear gray sweatpants are not slut. No, stop. No, because for most people, like, that's already like a pay bump, right?
No amount of money could convince them to return to an office. Now, we've talked about what bullshit return to office in general has been, what the motivation behind it is, which is the commercial real estate sits vacant that they committed to. All right. But all right, so let's hit the poll. Now they're up to 235 votes. Come on. Oh, it's not allowing me to vote on it because I know why. Hold on, let me click on it here. And I have to sign in. And now that I'm signed in, I can actually participate. Oh no, they closed the poll. Boo! Can't even see the results? Bullshit. Look at that crap. All right, this may look like a simple debate about flexibility, burnout, and work-life balance, but underneath the back and forth is something much more interesting. A clean, real-world example of how economists think about wages, job amenities, and trade-offs. So, again, commutes and flexibility, mental health, control where you live, that rarely come with a price tag. Right, but why should you have to put a price tag on that? So annoying. This whole thing just got me so angry. All right, but yeah, it turns out remote work fits cleanly into this framework. Yes. Hey, how about that? The wealth of nations, which not exactly a ringing endorsement for Marxism by any stretch of the imaginations. Adam Smith, economist. No. Okay. The office premium is a labor supply problem. Right. All right. The in-office job comes with a daily commute, geographic restriction, less control over one's schedule, greater monitoring, fewer options for relocation or childcare flexibility. And for many workers, those features reduce their willingness to supply labor at a given wage. So again, here's another TikTok where they're
I would rather work
about
remote for $120,000 than be in the office full time for $240,000. I actually work in tech making $118,000 salary and I'm fully remote. I have received offers that would bring my compensation to around $250,000. This is not something that's rare in tech, but working remote is not something I'm willing to compromise on. Being remote lets me sleep in a little longer. I don't have to get ready in the morning. I don't need to drive into an office just to sit at a desk and take Zoom calls. I was able to fully sell my car and become a one-car household.
So first off,
with my
depending on your commute, might be 30 minutes, might be an hour. You're just shitting away an hour right there.
Oh, you couldn't hear that. That's why.
On top of it, On top of it, you're walking through office poo particles. Poo particles are going into your mouth. They're going into your nostrils. You are
Poo
dealing
particles?
with office poo
Oh, that's
particles. There are no poo
gross.
particles. There are no poo particles at your house. They are only at the office. You are dealing with foreign poo particles.
Is that like no
from the
sex in
crop
the champagne
dusting
room?
and related. Yes, no poo particles in the office.
All right, wait. So wait. I want you to hear this.
Also,
Okay, so this is her argument.
I would rather
about
work
it.
remote for $120,000 than be in the office full time for $240,000. I actually work in tech making $118,000 salary and I'm fully remote. I have received offers that would bring my compensation to around
look at the
$250,000.
bandana
This is
on
not
the
something that's rare in
kitty.
tech, but working remote is not something
That's
I'm willing to
adorable.
compromise on. Being remote lets me sleep in a little longer. I don't have to get ready in the morning.
pussy.
I
I
don't
guarantee
need
you
to
that
drive
cat's
into an
fucking
office
pizzas.
just to sit at a desk and take Zoom calls. I was able to fully sell my car and become a one-car household with my partner who also works remote. I can make lunch at home instead of going out to a restaurant. I can actually focus on my work and excel in my job without being distracted, and I still feel energized at the end of the day to work on my passions. People forget how time-consuming and exhausting an office is. Not to mention, I keep my booty out of all the office politics. And can we please bring ourselves down to earth for just a second? $120,000 is a lot of money. And if you had the opportunity and skills to land a $240,000 position, you probably also have the ability to make money outside of a 9-to-5, which is what I chose to do. Of course, I could have focused on climbing the corporate ladder and making more money there, but I wanted to build something of my own. Just last year, I made $100,000 from my content creation business while working my remote 9-to-5, and I'll make a lot more than that
It's an
in
influencer.
2025. I would not have the same earning potential if I was working in an office full time. To be honest, I probably wouldn't have started creating content at all. So by passing up on a higher paying in-office job, I was able to out earn it all on my own. And
Right,
if I
but-
got laid off, I'd still have an entire stream of income
100
that can
grand
cover my
bright.
bills. And one last thing for all the people who think working remote is antisocial, I see and hang out with friends almost every day, which is way more than when I worked in an office. Your coworkers are not your friends. I'm no longer socially exhausted at the end of the day, and I have so much more capacity to see my actual friends. If you think being remote is antisocial, you probably just struggle to make or maintain friendships. Sorry.
Or your friends are all really far
What would you-
away
what would you
and you
do?
don't have the ability to see them in person very often. That's my issue. Is I'm incredibly social and I hang with friends all the time, but I never get to actually see them in person. Yeah, holy privilege, Batman is right. Sort of.
Yeah, I mean, what would you do if at the end she was like, "I cash a $7,000 check every week for my content"?
Right.
Like, oh damn, I knew it. You're Neo Berg, aren't you?
Israel's buying that one too. Right. So it's we were going to talk about a couple of strikes that were going on. You know, you've got nurses in New York City are striking. We've got also, and there's a lot going on. That 15,000 nurses are on strike there. It's pretty big.
Yep.
And they're, I don't know how long they're going to hold out, but World Social's website is a big fan of what they're doing. A lot of people are. So is Descendant Bloom, who mentioned how proud earlier today that she was of the nurses that are holding out. We also had a general strike in Bolivia that ended up delivering some kind of material returns for the workers. It was a lot of the transit workers and the trade unions that held out there. And then I know that people didn't hear about this because I didn't even hear about this, but back in December, because it's been a while since we did this show, Amazon workers in Riverside, California walked off the job because they were protesting exhausting workloads and low pay and their ongoing efforts to undermine union organizing, which we've documented for years. You know, I've been a big proponent of supporting Amazon workers because they're the ones that make that company billions and they are treated like shit, micromanaged down to the minute.
Teamsters! Who are we? Teamsters! Who are we? Teamsters! Who are we? Teamsters!
So they unionized with the Teamsters, I guess.
Fuck yeah.
Now they got big union power behind them. And it's a small amount, but It's their largest delivery station in Riverside, California. That stuff matters. It hurts their pockets. It's the only language they speak. Is hurting their fucking money.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
exactly. And guys, like, don't ever get this twisted for a second. They know who keeps the fucking lights on in the office. They know who's like actually responsible for those profits they brag about to the shareholders. It's always been the workers for every fucking company. They're the ones carrying basically myriad salaries for everybody else. They're the ones actually doing the shit. They're actually the ones producing. Okay?
Now, warning though, you could end up like an Ubisoft worker. That you sent me this one that last week in Halifax, they tried to unionize. They did not. They were unsuccessful. And so Ubisoft decided to shut down their entire office, streamlining operations, improving efficiency, and reducing costs. So now 70 some odd people, 71 staff members are out of jobs. They were working on mobile titles for Rainbow Six and Assassin's Creed. Okay, completing a process. They had formed Ubisoft's first labor union in North America. Huh. Weird that's the office that they go after, right? Now, there's going to be some kind of lawsuit, right?
I always wonder, like, were they going to do that anyway, though? Because it's like that's happening across the board in the video game industry where they're basically just like shutting tons of jobs down just because they're essentially going to trust AI to basically create their video games for them, especially on mobile. Because the primary programming vector, the IDE they use for mobile is Unity, which is very AI friendly, as it turns out. So I don't know how much of that is like, yeah, we were going to do this anyway, so fuck them. Or like they did it directly as a fuck you. But yeah, there is always a chance that your efforts to unionize are going to be thwarted. It's supposed to be illegal, but if you're like shutting down like a studio, then you're shutting down a studio. I think that kind of, I don't know if it bypasses it. I'll have to look at the actual law, but it's not the same as like you're trying to start a union and I'll fire you. Like, you know?
Well, somebody's asking again in the chat, and let me see if I can expand that. It's a long one. Last question, gentlemen, I promise. If it's plausible that the Freedom Cities and Greenland stuff, like a developed countries 2.0, with vetted entry for only pro-Trump or pro-establishment citizens, I think that's quite possible. And maybe like with a new economy or currency that is like a life raft away from
Digital.
the current economy. If you want to be a Zionist, okay. Maybe. I don't want to live in. I don't want to live in a freedom city that's run by Peter Thiel or any of these Zionists that you're going to have to toe the line and let them inspect your social media and be censored wherever because they're the managers of the place. No, is it real? It's absolutely real. And the new president of Honduras is going to allow for that Prospero Freedom City to happen. It looks like they're trying to make something happen over in Greenland now too. And I saw something today about them even willing to make a deal now. Oh my God, no, fight this, please. This belongs not one iota to the United States.
Every single billionaire, including the reptile, they're all reptiles. They're all Anunnaki lizard people, as I say. All the billionaires are already invested in Greenland. It is a fundamental aspect of the technique. To answer the question posed to us, basically what they're going to have. Okay. I'm going to predict the future again. Because we are tomorrow's news today. What we're going to have a digital currency, right? And that currency, the point of a digital currency is to trace where your money is moving, right? So if you're funding a protest of any kind, if you're not paying the right companies for goods and services, all of that. They're going to trace that because they need their slimy little tendrils on fucking everything, right? In addition to that, you're going to have a digital ID, and your digital ID is going to have your social media footprint. They're working right now to eliminate anonymity across the internet. You've seen multiple instances of this. The most recent one being obviously this push for like uploading IDs when it comes to like your social media. So you're going to have digital ID, you're going to have digital currency. Both of these things are essentially going to trace everything you do. Now, when it comes to freedom cities, I feel like that's going to be more of an they're going to pose it more as an opportunity. These 15-minute cities, that was the working title. They're going to pose this essentially as like an opportunity. You can come to the 15-minute city and everything is going to be more convenient. But the only way they're going to get away with that is they're going to make everything less convenient for anybody who isn't in the 15-minute cities. So they're basically going to just herd you into these like massive cities, and a big one's probably going to be in Greenland because that's where a good chunk of rare earth minerals are. They have a lot of other natural resources that are very useful in building like a technate like they're working on. So I hope that answers your question. And if you have any follow-ups, I'm happy to answer those too.
Yeah. But yeah, Ubisoft is laying off their entire Halifax office that was trying to unionize. So it seems to be punishing workers that are trying to unionize wherever possible. This is another AI slop post on LinkedIn that I wanted to share and triggered me a little bit. Okay. I replaced my $847,000 legal team, my CFO, my car mechanic, and my dentist with one AI agent.
Dentist.
How the fuck do you replace your dentist? It crashed 47 times yesterday, but here's the thing. Those crashes, they taught my team resilience. We don't have a team anymore. I fired them, but you get the point. Let me show you what this agent's capable of. It reads contracts, sometimes the right ones. It calculates revenue, off by 600%, but it's still learning. It provides emotional support. It told my COO to simply be happier. And it handles customer complaints by deleting them. And I knew Himbo would love that one. It isn't just automation. It's a $4.2 million a year salary replacement that costs 0.3 cents per API call. That's $4.2 billion saved. Please don't ask about the 380,000 in errors we had to fix manually. Then they let you know that the workflow is simple. The webhook fires. You have 47 if nodes that you'll never understand. A large learning module hallucinates aggressively. Data goes somewhere, but unclear where. And we screenshot for LinkedIn. Want the workflow in the blueprint? Comment delusional, and I'll DM you a JSON file that won't import correctly. Yeah. Make sure you're connected so I can add you to my newsletter you didn't ask for. The future of work is satisfying. Follow me for more automation content that sounds better than it performs. Look at how beautiful that workflow chart is. Amazing. Of course, I commented with delusional, so I got the JSON file. It didn't work.
Nice.
Oh, amazing. At least somebody is making fun of LinkedIn on LinkedIn. Because, man, LinkedIn is a special place. Let me tell you,
it's so fucked.
It is a special place.
It's become like this weird. It's become this weird, like collective narcissism exercise where everybody just makes every post about like how we can survive in this like totalitarian work situation where everybody's just trying to like get crumbs from some corporation. It's pathetic. It's the fucking humble pathetic.
Brags.
This is why I don't fuck with LinkedIn anymore. It's pathetic. It's just like, here's a thing that I think will really help you guys like get better at like sucking like a billionaire off. Here's how you can suck the billionaire off better. You gotta I hate it. I fucking hate all of it. It's disgusting. Okay. You're doing work. You're already selling your labor. This is already degrading enough. because that labor is being exploited. You're not getting the fruits of that labor. It's going upward to some fat corpulent idiot so he can play some pay to win mobile game and blow like your salary in a day on like bundles or whatever. And like the fact that so many people are just willing to be just such good little toadies for the capitalist machine, it's just fucking disgusting. It's gross. It's fucking gross. I hope this site gets hacked and it just gets deleted one day, because it has become the most toxic environment for smelly little toadies. And I can't. Look, if you want to look for a job, there's better sites out now. I know some people went back to Indeed. I thought Indeed was out, but now everyone's going back to Indeed because they can't stand fucking. Because here's the difference.
Unusable. Monster's a waste of time. LinkedIn's a waste of time.
Mm-hmm.
What I found is that industry, like kind of publications, are starting to pop up. Like I'm in the automotive world, so a guy started a podcast slash he started out as just the car dealership guy, and he tweet. You guys are probably, some of you probably follow him on Twitter or on LinkedIn or on somewhere. Car dealership guy started out anon, was tweeting and just his experience and sharing his thoughts about marketing and what was going on in the automotive industry. And he's built this behemoth, and he built a job site, a job posting site where employers can post, but it's all focused on the automotive industry. Hundreds of companies are now posting there, and it's an industry specific site. So it's catering to people that are already into the industry and know about it, and or they're fans of the car dealership guy. They're already interested in the automotive world. So you're pulling from a much deeper pool. And it's doing incredibly well. This guy's got like 5 podcasts going. They did a whole other thing for dealerships to connect with each other across the country and talk about what's working, while, so they can share things without actually competing with each other, but they can pull ideas from what other dealerships are doing elsewhere around the country. I think that there's a lot of value there. These guys have really figured out how to help the actual business owners do more business rather than just putting your hand in the pocket and coming up with some sales strategies or a training program that doesn't really work for anyone, but worked for them. So it's like, hey, it worked for me. Maybe it'll work for your guys. This is something completely different. This is, hey, what do you need? And let's build it for you based on what you need. And it's taken off. And he's done a tremendous job there to build out an entire ecosystem to help people within an industry find jobs. That was the whole point, is that I find that industry job boards tend to be better if you are looking to target a specific industry. I also found that website, stillhiring.com or .info. It was way back, one of the first episodes that we did, and I still have it here, stillhiring.today. So that is a website.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's a massive pivot table. I'm going to open up now, and it has all different kinds of roles for all different, and it's mostly in SaaS tech, but from sales, marketing, engineering, product, customer success, and what roles they're hiring. And you can filter this pivot table down to just the roles that fit what you're looking for, your job. You can even look at which companies are moving quickly or who's gotten funding recently, where they're headquartered, and everything. And then get to the open job right here. There's the open role where you can apply. So this does a lot of the work to crawl these Workday sites, and I don't remember what the other ones are, but there are several, kind of large hiring sites that a lot of these big companies use.
Wait, is that
and if they can crawl it, so right now there are 1,287 roles listed in SaaS. That's software as a service. Okay. And
Thanks,
what
man.
what's it called? Who the frig is hiring right now or something like that? Who's hiring today? And you can filter this down and get to a list of actual workable jobs. And I went through this. Now, unfortunately, you still do need to tailor your resume to the role that they're hiring. I'm guessing you can use some kind of AI to say, take this resume, rewrite it for this, and upload it to that. And these are companies you've heard of. 1Password. And then I used another one. It was a sales...
I have a family member who works there who I need to reach out to.
Oh, see, how about that? 1Password's a good company. But then I was combining this with another company.
And 1Password is awesome.
Called RepView. And that, in conjunction with this one, allowed me to then score how the companies are and who's hiring. Because these guys also list tech sales jobs, and they're kind of like a glass door for sales specifically. So they allow salespeople to rate how are the commission plans and how do they treat their employees and what percentage of people are actually making their sales quotas so that you can judge, am I actually going to succeed there? So, we do a lot of black pilling stuff, but this is stuff that actually helps people find jobs and to, you can explore companies or rankings. So here are in the company rankings, they'll list by city or by mid-sized companies, the best companies to work for, scored out of 100.
Yep.
So Triple Whale and companies you've never heard of, but these guys hire and they pay and they may do
Triple
something.
Whale. Who doesn't want to work with 3 whales?
Nooks, an intelligent virtual sales floor and dialer. All right. So if you can get a gig there, they're ranked in the top 5% of company. Oh, shit. I'm sorry. I'm not sharing my screen. Nobody can see what I'm seeing here. You guys can. So Nook, this is the website still that's called RepView. So RepView allows you to search by rankings, either by area or by size of the company or by type of things that you're looking for. All right. And again, it is a massive pivot table that shows you all of the companies that are hiring right now and have jobs listed in the tech SaaS field. So that combined with this helps you score the companies. And I was doing this and applying for these roles. And then once you use ChatGPT or one of these tools that can help you tailor your resume, you've got a much better shot at landing a good gig with a good company that you will that you can actually make money at and stay. That was really my whole point to that whole thing. All right, now
that's word.
I'm spent. I think that's good. I think we can cut it off there for tonight. Everyone's having fun in chat. Cookies is talking about ICE training. No, we don't talk about ICE training here. ZipRecruiter. I hear nothing but bad things about I've never had a good experience with ZipRecruiter ever. It sucks. Dice.com.
I've just never had anything happen with. I've never had anything happen with ZipRecruiter. That's like I've applied to a bunch of jobs and like nothing. I've never. It just seems to go into a void. The most luck I've had is LinkedIn, but again, it's the same like process of like 7 fucking interviews and it's probably a fake job and they're gonna give you a bunch of homework to do on your free time and it's like fuck that. Stop doing this, guys. We need to stop. If we all just stopped taking part of this, if like the next time someone's like, okay, here's a hiring process, we all just said, yeah, fuck that. They would stop doing it. Or ask them directly, like, is this an actual real position?
They always find somebody desperate enough. They play on desperation. And right now, they're starving people like crazy out of their own jobs so that they'll be desperate enough.
Well, they need the scarcity. They always need the scarcity.
Yeah. There's no company in the USA working against capitalism, no NGO, nothing. You labor to your detriment. Unless you are the boss yourself, yes, you labor to your detriment. And even still, you're working for somebody else. You're not one of those multi-billionaires that's on the receiving end and the investor end. And that's really the people that have increased their wealth multi times over in these past few years is the ownership class. While everyone else is treading water or going backwards, especially like real world money to, where your dollars can go. Oh, good night, Dibs. I like the Dibs name. That's funny. Yeah, we're gonna head out for tonight too.
She's actually a rapper.
Huh?
She's actually a rapper. Her rapper name is Lil Dibs.
Lil Dibs. Good to know.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Tomorrow
she did the famous album Great Malenko. Yeah.
Tomorrow over on INN in the morning, we're going to simulcast the Independent Review. It's Friday. So that is a compilation stream where there's a bunch of different independent media clips, including usually one from Indie News Now Live. And then there's an open StreamYard at the end of that at 12:30 Eastern-ish till about 2. And then there's also at 1 o'clock tomorrow, I was invited to Last American Vagabond and Derek Bros are having a fundraiser stream. And I got a StreamYard link to join them and hang out with them over there for a little bit. So I'll probably do that. 7 o'clock Eastern tomorrow, we've got Angel in the Afternoon. Every Friday, 7 o'clock. And I think they're at 143, 145, something like that. He's up to. Descent in Bloom's actually going to be joining him as a guest. Him and Witchy Perfect and Alex Knight. So that's cool. Descent in Bloom recently joined Troll Pilled, for those who don't know. I think most of you do. Also, Sunday, we've got Boat Smashing and Other Boats. I do that with Reef. That's at 11 Eastern. And I think these guys are going to do a Troll Pilled show on Sunday night, too. That's usually when they do their shows. And then Tuesday, I'm back doing...
Pending... Yeah, we'll be back Sunday night pending any attacks from a foreign agency if I speak about them too much, I guess. But I guess I figured out my internet, so we should be good.
Seems like it. You were pretty good. We had a couple of hiccups, but we were pretty solid. And then Tuesday night again, I'll be back for Indie News Now Live for another set of horrifying stories. I have no idea what it's going to be about this week. It's only Thursday, so we got 5 days before I have to put something together. But check out indienews.network. Check out indienewsnow.com all week for constantly rotating updated news. Check out INNnewsletter.com. Tomorrow there'll be something going out at 5:45 Eastern. Like every week, we do the weekly update. So all the live streams, all the clips, all the articles, everything that was put out throughout the week, all the simulcasts are all there laid out, all the links in one place for you to get to. And then, I don't know if we're doing anything Saturday. Oh, it's Pro Wrestling Talk Saturday. Duh. And Angel is also going to be doing gaming. Late night, Friday night, midnight. He's going to be doing gaming on the Ocho. INN 8, the Ocho, is where basically INN moves to on the weekends. So gaming on Saturday, gaming on Friday, wrestling on Saturday, reactions on Sunday. And that's kind of where we're at for the Ocho at the moment. So thank you, everyone. Oh, before we go, support independent media because we need it more than ever. That's our wall of fame. And we've got a couple of people that have been added to it already in 2026. Thank you. And the ways to do that, Cash App, $, Indie News Network is the easiest way to do that. And then ko-fi.com/Indie News Network. That works too. And it goes over to paypal.me/Indie News Network. If you want to subscribe monthly, we've got patreon.com/Indie News Network. I don't know why Himbo's making a face. All right. IndieNewsNow.com. I talked about that before. And then the two Substacks at IndieMediaToday.com. That's mine. And then INNnewsletter.com. We're actually live there right now. That's where Ahmad and the other people that have been watching over there. Thank you so much to everyone who does watch over on Substack. Really appreciate that. What's up?
That's why I don't see the comments.
Because you've been on INN
No,
Newsletter?
I was just commenting. That's why I don't.
What?
That's why I don't see the comments. It's from people over on Substack.
Yes. There's been a couple of people over there chatting as well. Really appreciate that.
Thanks.
Yeah, Harps, fuck Substack, you cunts. That's absolutely right, because they've now put age verification in place, and you now have to upload a biometric scan and ID in order to be able to even read comments in Australia on Substack, if you didn't know. And if you didn't know that, check out Indie's Tech Tips from last Thursday. We covered that in depth, and I cover that also on Indie News Now Live before the Christmas break. So check that out, and I love you, Harps. Fuck those cunts. See you later, everyone, and we're going to get out of here for tonight. Support independent media because we need it more than ever. I'll see you soon, fam. And
keep questioning.
Nobody wants to work anymore. Yeah.
There we go.
keep questioning what?
Everything.
Everything.
I guess this isn't such an awful place. Is that what you want me to say? You prove it's possible to sleep for days, and I still think you're right here awake. The cost of living isn't much to make, but God, it's so hard to say. And when they told you everything was safe, were you safe? Were you safe?
Who are these people?